Good afternoon, one and all. Welcome to the Friday afternoon's edition of Speaking Out, Exposing Corruption and Incompetence. Welcome, all you faithful, loyal students. Welcome to this Friday afternoon's edition, Friday the 18th day of July, 2025. I hope you had a good, restful few days since we last met on Wednesday. Hope you're looking forward to a very relaxing weekend. So yes, here we are for the Friday afternoons edition. As we will tell you when you come on, share the live. And stop begging the heart to give the thumbs up, man, because many of you are perhaps reluctant. Something happened to your thumb, so you can't get the thumbs up. But share the live. Let them know that we're on, because by now I think a lot of people know that 4 o'clock Friday afternoon we have this program, the makeup program. We have so many issues to deal with that we just can't do it. We can't do this program twice a week, especially in this silly season when all sort of propaganda is being spread all over the place. They get all those sycophants and all them coming out. So you got to come to Speaking Out for us to give you the credible, valuable information. Yes, this is where you are going to get it. So come and share the live, and we're here today, Friday. Another great day that the Lord has made. Let's rejoice and be glad in it. Let's give praise and thanks for being in the land of the living. It is a privilege to be in the land of the living, and we should never, ever take that for granted. So here we are this blessed Friday afternoon to bring you credible, valuable information. CC is waiting anxiously in the back of the studio, and we are going to be with you with the main ingredients, or as the man said, the main ingredients. We're going to be with you and let you know what is happening in the dear land of Guyana, the troubled land of Guyana. Corruption and incompetence reigns. Corruption and incompetence reign, I should say, reign. I want to sound grammatically incorrect, like some of them scapes and so on. So let me repeat that. Corruption and incompetence reign, right? So let me make sure we get my subject and my verb correct, because they're going to come and they're going to lash me and say, slow and know the quiz English and so on. I know it better than enough of them. I know the word reparation and all of that. I know a lot of things more than a lot of them, because I went to a proper university. So yes, we are going to come to you in a while. We have so many things, even as we were preparing at the last moment, more news coming to hand. So we'll see how we can deal with them. And as I said, we got to prioritize and bring you the credible thing. A lot of this stuff, we don't want it to be lagging too far behind. So we might bring some of those things forward. And some of the newer things, while we might just allude to it, we're going to give you more details on one of the next programs. So here we are. This great day that the Lord has made as you prepare for the weekend. And Friday afternoon, I know for many of you, is a special time, because you want to go to do whatever you do. You're preparing to unwind during the weekend. People stopping, sitting at a bar. You get a lot of popular bars. People go to the seawall and they just relax, knowing that they don't have to be in the hustle and the bustle tomorrow and the following day. Maybe some go to worship tomorrow, the Adventists. Some will wait until Sunday to do so. But it's just a different frame of mind you want to put yourself in. So whatever that is, therefore, we say that we are very appreciative of the fact that you make Speaking Out a part of that routine to watch and to hear what is going on. We all need to know the truth. It's a lot of propaganda. They get money. I'm referring to the PPP and them Jacobites. They get enough money and they can flood the airwaves with a lot of propaganda. And that is what they will do. They're going to flood the airwaves with propaganda. But we are going to reach you it, and we are going to tell you the truth. And we expect that as reasonable beings, once you hear the thing, we don't want you to believe what we say. We just want you to be aware and to be able to analyze it for yourself. Don't let them come and tell you all this stupidness. All they come and tell you stupidness, like the Not 7 bond license to Lake Bat. He can tell you something that he said just now. Well, let me do the roll call, do the announcements, and then we're going to move into it. The program was scheduled at 1, as the notification indicated, and we're not surprised. That man, well, many students came in at 1, and they're listed in this order. The man from up the hill, Barlett, he came in. He's listed at number 1. Leon Gibbo came in at the same time. Siobhan, Evelyn, Ulrich, West Ham man is here at that time. Sean from upstate is here. Felicia is he. Joan from New Amsterdam. Denise, the secretary, very early. Sorry, this is Denise Moore. Sorry, this is Denise Moore from Florida. Not Denise Booker, the secretary. She came in a little later. Desiree is here. Barbara. And then all those came at 1. Then shortly after at 1:01, Ashley, Esla, Carol, Mary. Then it was Eric Como, 8218 Como is here. Dexter, Kenneth. Kenneth is from Maryland. Queenie, Courtney from New Jersey. Pamela from West Demerara. Vashti, Moses, Forgus, John, Princess All, Lamar Springs. Mr. Nesta. Sia Nesta is here. Raul, 11752 Puran, Essequibo Coast. Benji, Mike Coney, Brian, Brooklyn, Lyndon, Derek, Carl, Doreen, my squad mate from Canada, Sandra, Father, Masha, Danny, 9731, retired superintendent, I think he was, detective, fantastic detective. Bonita, Pinky, Rhonda, then I'm still in the house. Clifton, Pastor Smith is here. Vashti, Lorraine, Joseph, Vibort, and this is Vibort John, Deborah, Phil, Michael Brower, 14126 Brower in the house. Junior, Clarence, Terence, 9795. Rosalind, then it is Kurt, Anthony Bradshaw, Peters Hall in the East Bank of Demerara, 11032 is here with us. Charlene, I remember your number, 15425. I ain't gonna forget your number. Charlene is in the house. Leslyn, and then after Leslyn, it is Marva, Henrik, Ricky, Clifton, all the way from Paris. Yardie ever misses a class. Tessa, Patricia, the Angel is with us. Then we have Lenin, Vibort, East Bank man. Vibort is on the East Bank. Patricia from New Jersey. Then it is Hope is here. Paulette. Then after Paulette, we had Roxanne, Mark, Evelina, Cloyd. Then it was after that is Marcus, Vibert, another fantastic detective, retired superintendent. Vibert Smith, Dion is here. Then we have another Vibert. Another Vibert was a retired superintendent, 9066, Mr. Conway's squad mate. We worked in the early days at Sparnam, and then when I was commander in A Division, as it was then, he was my OC number 1 for a period. Then you have Michael, the man from Imbai Madai, Trevor, Compton, Mary, Patrick, 12128, Rodney, right, is here with us. Wayne, Selwyn, Hazel, Brenda, Bernard, J.K. is in the house. Boo, Colin, George 8727, Mr. Mars is here with us. Gordon 6659, I think was Gordon. Abera, Elroy, Paul, Lorraine. This is Lorraine Brandt. We have quite a few Lorraines in the schoolyard. Sharon. Then look, we have another Lorraine right here now. We have Farina, Lyndon, Rhonda, another Rhonda, Terrence, Mike, Vaughn, Samp is here. Samp is here. Cecile Semper is here with us. Desiree. Then it was Emerson, Barbara, Malcolm, Rena, Rayburn, Anne, Michael, Isabella, Sydney, Kevin, 12729, I think it is here with us. Alwyn, Claude, Trevor, Valerie. Then it was Westmus, Carlisle, Clive 12789 from the UK. Then we have John, Melinda, 12538 Junior. Sorry, this is the report. 12538. Andrew, Wayne, Gaston, 9556, my squad mate. Nicola, Marva, Richard, Aral, Lawrence, Glendis, Angela, Jaco is here. The original black man is in the house. Marlon Francis Keith from Melanie. Uncle Paul Allison. Umi is here. Anthony. Orin from the UK. Our good friend Chicken, we used to call him. Not that he was a chicken, but we used to call him Chicken. Bray, Norbert, Paulette, Kay, Asani, Christy. After Asani is Christy Jack. Aileen is here. Aileen, how you make out to the cricket? You get over the stress yet, girl? Let me know. If you get over that 27 runs, I know you all are diehard fans. You're not going to give up. You're not going to give up. Well, I ain't so diehard any longer. Kerry is here. Denise, the secretary. Simone, Sherwin, Eric, Marcus, Gladwin. Then it was Double X. Carlo is here with us. Carlo, 10933. O'Neill, Doris is here. Lennox, Cranston. Then it was Duan, Lucius, Lorraine Ann, another Lorraine, Saul, Malcolm, Veronica, Aubrey, CC Squaddy, 1953, Patricia, Marvin, a so-called fast bowler, run up fast and blow slow, run up fast and blow slow. And then a breaks he back pass, he move young cloud to the way, 4 runs. Well, he didn't tell you all them at the edge to the slips and I get dropped. Yeah, they can't catch, so you gotta expect to get me wicket. A bracy back pass, you have to move young cloud to the way. 4 runs to Paul slow. Then Mortal, Aubrey, Lawson is here. Beverly, Ralph, Junior, Roy. Then it was Azarias, I think it is. Yeah. First time I can't recall seeing that student before. Russ, Roxanne, Rena. Then it was Magnell, Clifford, and Clifford was the last man in the schoolyard. And then when we open the gates, and we open the doors rather, we have Abu is here. Joyce Prince came in, and then Lynette from Barbados, Lynette Goodman, and the students are here. You see the number of students we have, the number. So this is the part, this is the warm up. So let me give you all the announcements now, as we would start with the sad announcements first. We told you some time ago of the death of retired Detective Sergeant Calvin Bailey. Now, I got some information to tell you that he will be buried on the 26th of July, next Saturday. The viewing at his residence, Fort Wellington, from 11 to 1. Then to the Family Tabernacle Worship Church, number 5 Village, West Coast, Borbies, for a service from 2 to 4. And then he will be buried at the number 4 cemetery. That's 12512 Bailey. We know Bailey. Then we have, I told you 2 of the death of Charlie. Charlie, the other week, 10918. Leroy Charles. There was a wake in Brooklyn last evening. And there's another wake for Charlie on the 24th at the ex-police association building in Cowan Street, Georgetown. And this funeral service will be in Brooklyn, will be on Sunday at Caribe Funeral Home. That is 1922 Utica Avenue. And then the body goes to Guyana, and then there's a funeral service there on the following Saturday, and he's going to be buried at I think it's a Good for Walking cemetery. That's a Charlie 10918. Then we have, I told you too about the death of retired Chief Inspector Milton Griffith, Milton Fitzgerald Griffith. We used to call him Bluff Griffith. Milton funeral, as we said, his funeral is going to be funeral service the 22nd of July from 10 to 2 at Christian Fellowship Seventh-day Adventist Church. That is on Schenectady Avenue in Brooklyn. And they said there's going to be a virtual viewing as well. And they have the number, which they're going to be a virtual viewing. And they have the ID and the passcode. Maybe at some stage, I'll put that up on my page so that you can look at it. And then I did tell you too of the death of former Corporal Lloyd Henry Irving Light. That funeral will take place tomorrow at Eversham Village and the Quarantine, viewing from 12 to 1, followed by a service. So we have that. And then, almost every day we have these fatal accidents and other incidents. It has been reported that yesterday, a motorcyclist, 55-year-old motorcyclist, was crushed by a truck on the East Bank public road. Motorcyclist, 55-year-old, crushed by a truck along the way. And then this morning it has been reported that a Linden taxi driver, a body of a man, was found riddled with bullets. That's what it said, riddled with bullets. Let me say what the thing says here. Linden taxi driver. Matter of fact, let me go through and come back to it and read what they're telling you. And just a while ago, just a few minutes ago, they're reporting that a female clothes vendor was shot and robbed in Mocha on the east bank of Demerara. They say she's motionless. They don't know if she's alive or not. Let me pray and hope that she is alive. So that is what you're having. Let me tell everybody birthday greetings before I bring the up here announcements. Today is the birth anniversary of a loyal student. I refer to Cheryl Pancham. Cheryl's birthday is today. She messaged me to remind, well, she didn't need to remind me. And but I remember Cheryl. Cheryl is somewhere, I think she said Belize, enjoying her birth anniversary. And she did provide a donation to Speaking Out. So thank you, Cheryl. Enjoy your birthday. And then we have belated birthday greetings for retired Superintendent Albert Connell, 7600. Albert, when I joined the TSU, Albert was there. All of us were constables there together. Big, tall, strapping Albert. And then Albert running to probably Larry Lewis. Larry Lewis, when Albert was officer in charge of TSU, and something came up about Scroonard on the West Bank, Demerara. And apparently, whatever Albert said, Larry Lewis was pleased. I said, oh, you know what's Scroonard there? I can transfer you this second, know what's Scroonard there. So Albert celebrated the birthday anniversary. I think it was Sunday. And at the same time, sad news because I learned that his sister passed away recently too as well. So condolences to Albert and the passing of his sister and all those others that I mentioned before, their relatives and friends on their passing. We did tell you about the upcoming birthday of Charles Aline. Aline. Some call it Aline, some call it Aline. Maurice Fraser. And I don't know what I missed. There was a birthday yesterday, I think, of Colin Harper. Harper used to be the man at the TSU. He used to be a cook at the TSU. 11747, I think, was his number. Always with a smile. Always with a smile. And then for the upcoming birthdays, we have a few. Inspector Clarence Jordan, I think he used to be in traffic. He's now stationed at TSU. He has one coming up. CC, your squad mate, Keith McDonald, 1972. I think he lives in Antigua now. TSU man, then he went to the CID. We used to call him Roberta Fleck. That's a long story, Roberta. So Mark birthday is coming up. I have a nephew, Kevin Allen. Aline, he is coming up too. We have former or retired director of prison, Byron Henry, coming up shortly. Dennis Oresho, traffic man. When I went to traffic force there, he was the traffic education officer. I think his number was 8318. Y'all could correct me if you're wrong. Dennis Oresho is celebrating one shortly. I have a female squad mate, Julie Victor. She was 337. She is celebrating shortly too. And a very good friend of mine, retired GRA personnel, Trevor Bowen. Trevor is celebrating his birthday in the next few days. I want to say to all those who are celebrating today, who celebrated recently, and who are celebrating in the near future, all the best to you. May God grant you health, strength to go on for years and years to come. Let me bring in CC. CC, welcome, my brother.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Happy to be in the land of the living to do God's work. Um, Let me shout out to Albert Connell. Sorry that I missed your birthday. I'm going to call you later on, and also the death of your sister. Charles Allen. Yesterday, I sorry we couldn't catch up to have some cold ones, but I know the beers are cold in there, and the cutters will follow, and we'll reach up subsequently. 8318 Horatio. Met him at my corner. He was a traffic man there and introduced me to drinking beers at Gonzal's rum shop. We had happy times there. And this life here, sometimes strange things will happen. I was downtown yesterday preparing to come home, and then my wife called me and said, "Look, she want me to buy a three-piece KFC special for a three-piece KFC special." She then asked the retiree, the unemployed retiree, whether he had money to buy anything also. So I left and was I'm heading to the KFC, passing East Coast Car Park. A minibus was about to pull off, and a woman shouted, "Mr. Conway, Mr. Conway, I want to talk to you." And the bus stopped. I went to the door. Yeah, I went to the door, and three men there. They said they were listening to Paul Slow and Conway. And then the woman came out the bus, and was a beautiful woman. Before you ask any question, and she told me an amazing story. She said our father is 99 years old, and he's a student. I repeat, 99 years old, and one of our students, and he doesn't miss a program, and he will create hell with them if when it's program time there's this problem with the internet, and also during the program time they have to be very quiet so that he can listen. 99 years old. So I made arrangement to speak to him, and we spoke a couple of hours ago, and it's amazing. He's 99 years old, and he has all his faculty, speaks well, has good memory, and he told me, remind me about the Enmore martyrs. He said he listened to the president the other day, and the president doesn't know the old. He said he was there. He said he was working with the company. He was a driver, and he started to call all the names of the person who died. He called the name of the policeman who rifled that attempted to take away his rifle, and the lance corporal who told him to shoot. It was amazing, and we spoke about a whole set of other things, and part of the thing he say that he wanted to become a policeman. He passed the test, and when they started to measure him, they say too short, and they turned him down, so he couldn't get to join the Ghana police force. And then I recall when I applied to become a member of the police force, I passed the exam, and when they started to measure me, when I jumped on the scale, I had 130 pounds, and the corporal said 135 or nothing. You can't join this police force with 130 pounds. You can't hold on no thief man with 130 pounds. I said, "Ma'am, but I have some qualification. I got GC. Although, I didn't go to secondary school. I went to primary school. And after we passed what we call the CP, College Preceptors exam, our headmaster took some of us together and taught us privately to write the GC, and we passed. We get quite a number of subjects. It never happened before, you know. And so they I tell the couple, I say, "Mom, but I get some qualifications." He said, "Right now, I ain't looking after qualification, I'm looking after pounds. You can't hold on no thief man with 130 pounds, 135 or nothing." There was an officer there, his name was Gibbs, and Gibbs knew me, and he told the couple, "Look, when you're all ready for young Conway, you're going to put on a 5 pounds. So process him." And as fate would have it, I retired as an assistant commissioner, or to make a deputy commissioner, but they didn't want to give pass through nothing. So me and I already suffer. They wait the right way out, and then they promote Bromel and I think Sila Prasad. So this 99 years old man, Aubrey Roberts is his name. The Scully Labo, he said. Very, very interesting. And we will talk a bit more, I promise that to go and see him, and we'll talk about. I tell you, 99 years old, a student, and he said Paul to tell you hello, and that he will continue to listen, and he prayed to the Lord that we will continue to move from strength to strength. And talking about that, I want to just shout out to Pastor Scholz from West Coast Barbies. Thanks for the support. Thanks for the contribution. I know you continue to pray for us. You pray for the country. You pray for the people in the residents of this beautiful land of Guyana. And we know now is a silly time, now is election time. So continue to pray for this nation, Pastor Schultz.
Yes, thank you, thank you. And fantastic, 99 years old student we have. I guess he is the oldest student. Yeah, but back in those days, there is brands. You look for brand, you come back, it's a full circle now, because even though some of them now might have papers, some qualification, back to when you see how they write, when you see how they react and so on. And, I am not blaming the individuals per se. It's a system. It's a system. Because I say I'm a product of a primary school education, and then I went to university and so on. And even then, students who came out from secondary school, some of the top secondary school, couldn't write properly and all sort of thing. Grammar and so on is problems with them, right? Problems. Even now, when you listen to some of the ministers and even government senior people, including the president, and them speak, you want to know which school they went to? Which school they went to that saw the subject and verb in disarray, right? Look, let me say this. In fairness to all, when you speak, because it is generally spontaneous, yes, you can slip. I slipped earlier and I have to correct myself, right? You can slip. But when you sit down to write, if you know the language and you know the basics, you ought not to be making subject and verb errors and all them type of thing. Not when you sit down and write, get the chance to read over and so on. Them green verbs, like Lewis used to call them, green verbs. I was in this, I might have told y'all this before. I was in vacation in the US some years ago. And Gregory Christiani, a good friend of mine, the late Gregory Christiani, Peppers the Water, Chris, called me. I know he stuttered a lot. And he's stuttering and he's telling me that the FBI, FBI in Guyana, FBI, they're investigating a murder. So I said, murder? Not FBI, Scotland Yard. Scotland Yard investigating murder? He said, yes. I said, who did? He said, I saw an officer just at the farewell parade, and the man murdered the Queen English, so Scotland Yard come for investigating. That's what Peppers told me. I never, ever forgot that. I'm talking about murder, as I intimated earlier. Despite what I can tell you, crime done, I told you all about the robbery where this woman was found shot. We don't know if she's dead. I am hoping that she is not. But the picture that is there, the blurred part of the image, it looked really, really serious in Mocha, right? Now, they're reporting today, crime alert, Linden taxi driver riddled with bullet. This is sometime last night or yesterday. Guyana Police Force are investigating the circumstances surrounding the death of Ron Clark, a 30-year-old taxi driver of William Street, Kitty, and of Lot 76 Wizrock Housing Scheme, which occurred about 19:15 hours last evening, that is the 17th of July 2025, at Victor Valley, Wisma, Linden. Bale, you want to tell me about that? According to a 19-year-old construction worker, about 19:15 hours, he was walking along a street in Victor Valley when he saw the deceased lying in a drain motionless. The teen said he raised an alarm, and Clark was subsequently removed from the drain, placed in a passing car, and taken to the Linden Hospital complex, where he was pronounced dead on arrival by Dr. I don't know why there's mentioned the people name, but they mentioned the doctor name. I would not. The body was examined, and gunshot injuries were seen in the following areas. Note, they tell you gunshot. Is that telling you what appeared to be gunshot? You know, there's dance and get a lot of salawala, but now the sort is gunshot. And they said 5 to his right arm, 2 to the groin, 1 to the right side hip, and 6 on the right thigh. Additionally, 1 warhead was found in Clark's underwear, brief in bracket. At the scene, it was observed that the street where the incident allegedly occurred runs east to west, with small snack bars shop on the northern and southern sides. These shops were closed at the time. 17. Listen to this carefully, That was 7 something last night. The shops closed. The scene was video processed by a crime scene rank. 1 pair of black and white Adidas slippers was seen on the southern side of the street, with blood stain on the right side, along with 9 mm spent shells. The spent shells and blood-stained slippers were collected, placed in evidence box, sealed, and last to be escorted to the lab for examination. The body was taken to the funeral home, awaiting a PME, several persons questioned, and the investigation continued. Almost every day, not so long ago, a body was found with both gunshot wounds. It turned out they said someone used to work at the airport, looked like execution. Then 2 days or 2 nights ago, we had a situation in Buxton. I think it's Tuesday night into Wednesday morning, where 2 men were shot. One of the guys, Mark Correa, is my neighbor. I know him well. So I made the point. We were waiting to hear they're going to say what gang related, but they come and they say, well, is that gang related based on what we say? People say they were at the wrong place at the wrong time. He went there to play domino according to his mother, who gave an interview yesterday to some social media person that the place he frequents. He go there and collect money, play a little domino. I know Mark. Mark is no thief. Mark doesn't have need to be involved in any criminal activities. His mother is there, and what he does, he got a car. He uses the car to fetch stocks to his mother. She said so in the interview. He also would take children to school and in the morning and pick them up and so on with the car. And I'll tell you about this silly season, Tell you all about, but coming out to that, they said they found about 40 empty casings. I want to know if they went, what happened to the ballistics? Remember when the man was shot and killed at Fowles, East Coast there, just about 2 weeks ago? When they said police shoot at the man, there's what people who were in the area saw police shooting. They came out and denied. It was said too that some security guard nearby shot, also fired. And the postmortem was done a day, I think it was a Wednesday. And by the same afternoon, the next day, they claimed that the results show that the fragment of the bullet that was recovered from the deceased person matched the gun that the security guard had. He charged with murder. The fragment of a bullet, they found. Charged with bullet. And I know people know, I know a little about ballistics and so on. So not with the technology they have. You can't do type of matching with a piece of fragment of the thing. That would have required metallurgical tests and a whole set of scientific things. People who know me, call, and people who know, call and tell me. And I have done the research. But they say, is a post security guard, catch a murder charge, so you get put away there for a long time. In the meanwhile, the police, the gun, cut free. And even denied shooting, even though the evidence later surfaced that they were actually chasing the man. They denied initially that the man was being chased. They never admitted to chasing the man. The man was on a motorcycle. They were in a vehicle. Never admitted to that. Man shot, killed. Whether they say it's a security guard. I don't know thing. But with this one, 40 casings found. Some assault rifle, casings, some assault rifles, empty shells from assault rifle. And we ain't hear nothing as to matches and so on. We ain't hear nothing about that. And the Minister of Home Affairs, I refer to Mr. Shoot and Scoot Ben. He went yesterday to visit the mother of Mark. He went to visit the mother. I tell you, these people ain't got no class, Absolutely no class. Not even last class they may get. Robeson Ben went to visit the mother. I'm going to show you all the picture. Look, this is the mother, my neighbor, Nisha Correa. Look her here. When Robeson Ben went to express condolences, he meeting the lady in the yard. That's our yard. This is on the northern side of our building. Where you see the car park, that is Mark's car. Not in the yard. How indecent can these people be, man? You're going to express condolences. You're not going to let them make some arrangement. The lady has a shed at the back where you're going to sit down and express a little sympathy. All right, she's going to invite you. You want to go into the home or into the house and so on. You're going to go to the back somewhere under some shed. You sit down and Robeson Shoot and Scoot Ben. And I am not surprised because when you see how he addressed on a few occasions, the man stand up in the yard. And then hear this. I know if y'all pick this up. When they go on these things, it's about propaganda. So they get a cameraman who going to take out the picture. Because he went to the other relatives too. I ain't got a picture to show up. Camera people will take out the thing and put them a big propaganda. Minister sympathizing with the dead man relatives and all these type of things. They have no blasted class. Not even the last class I don't get. Because I say again, if you're gonna go to express condolences to somebody who met the death under these tragic circumstances, get your people, man. You must get people to go and arrange it and so on, to make sure, first of all, that the lady the home and the lady know you're coming. Somewhere for you to sit down and spend at least a couple of minutes. When you stand up in the yard, you look like you don't want to be there. You look like you don't want to be there. And then I want to ask a question too in respect to this thing. They say some car was circling the area prior to this shooting. Car was circling the area. They suspect that this is the same car from which where the government came back with. What happened to all them safe city and all them cameras you always talk about? That's supposed to replace boots on the ground. What you haven't been able to pick up enough information to see who the car. You said in the release, the police saying in the release that some group named Team Diamond is suspected to have been involved in this shooting. Wait, I am pick up nothing. You don't know who the people associated with this Team Diamond? You gave a release to say a particular group of persons might have been involved. You know, and that means says you. So what happened? You don't know who they are. You don't know where they are for pick them up. You know, it is absolutely ridiculous what it has come with. And as I've said before, over and over, I like when they mention and they write these things because you can analyze, you can dissect, and you can expose the nonsense what they do. Let me bring in Mr. Conway to talk about this, and then we're going to move on. CC, your views, my brother.
Yeah, and the minister visit, and no decorum. When you look at it, perhaps the minister is left-handed. If you don't deal with the mother, why don't you shake her right hand? Why are you shaking your left hand? Something is wrong right there. Maybe he's left-handed. And getting back to the kind of bullets what they found in the thing there, they were able to pick up a fragment and trace it to a gun that the security used, a fragment. And then we get some bright students. Somebody just texts me and says, it's a fragment of the imagination, a fragment of the imagination of the ballistic experts. They got to do proper thing. And they get cameras all over the place. Yes, the president said the cameras will replace boots on the ground. Them cameras now work like how they didn't work when they had paper shots. Something is definitely wrong. They got to do proper investigation. Let me hear they pulling anybody. They talk about Team Diamond. You don't pulling nobody from Team Diamond? Nobody pulling from Team Diamond? Or because the head of Team Diamond is connected with a certain political party? Yeah. Do proper professional investigation. As the death of a human being, and the human being has died. 2 persons died, including a youth. Do proper investigation, or perhaps they're going to be like another paper shots more than one.
And another curious thing, CC, in the release they said that one of the injured men, something Nero he named, is under police guard at the hospital. Now, if he is a victim, you portray him as a victim because he was there when these people opened fire. 2 men are dead. Several others, including this Nero character, is injured. Why is he on the police guard? Maybe they would want to explain that. Why is, I think Sharon is his first name, Nero on the police guard? He, as far as your release said, is a victim of this shooting. So why he on the guard? You see, I tell you all again, when they come, we like when they come and they talk the crap, and we're going to dissect it. And again, let me say this to the police, and perhaps even others. When I made a release about this matter, it came out that said alleged murder. Alleged murder. Now, if men pull up and open fire with a powered rifle and kill 2 men and injured others, how that is alleged? I had to go and look for the dictionary for the meaning of the word alleged. They say alleged is of an incident or a person without proof. So you don't have proof that it's a murder? Let me understand this. Do you not have proof that that was a murder? So how can it be an alleged murder? It's murder. It is clear-cut murder. So to tell people, well, we know they got problem with the language. But to tell people it's an alleged murder, suggesting you're not sure that it is a murder. You're not sure it is a murder. But based on what you said in the release, you confirm men roll up, men riddle the neighbor and the little 15-year-old boy with bullet, others shot and things. So how they ask that is a alleged murder? How that is an alleged murder? It is murder. You might say allegedly committed by your known person or something. You might know who the people is. But again, the definition, and John, check it for yourself. They say when you talk about an alleged definition of an incident or a person without proof to have taken place or to have a specified illegal or undesirable quality, alleged without proof. You have enough proof that that was a murder. You had enough proof that that was a murder. So you have to stop misusing this word allege and allege and allege, right? Are you stop misusing the word allege? Now let me make this one, and then I'm gonna move on to. No, before I do that, maybe I could do it one at a time. Today, in case you all missed it, students, because I don't see anything much about it. Today is the anniversary, the 13th anniversary of the death of those 3 men in Linden, where the police shot and killed. They were protesting, remember? It was on the 18th of July, 2012. Let me get the name. Ron Somerset, Shamroy Bowie, and Alan Lewis was shot and killed by the police. The current commissioner, Cliff Terikin, was in charge of E&F division at the time, and he was the man on the ground when the incident took place. Them 3 men shot and killed. Today is the anniversary of that killing. Today is the anniversary, the 13th anniversary of the killing of Anwapum. Like they have not learned anything. I remember that incident very well. I had just retired. Leroy Brummel was the commissioner. And when I heard of the incident, I requested audience with him. And I tried to give him some advice and so on, which I did. And I was disappointed when the inquiry came around that some of the basic stuff, because one of the things I told him, and I continue to say that when you have an incident of that nature, similar to what you had on the 28th of April with the shooting after the postmortem result of Adriana Young. Police shoot, people dead, nobody now admit the shooting, like what you had at Linden too, where those 2 men were killed, including Kevin. Fortunately, up to now, you ain't nothing about that. I said, you have got to make sure that you have a record of all the ranks who were on duty, what firearm they were armed with, and those things got to be lodged as exhibit, proper ballistic test. Because if the policeman was issued with, let's say, a rifle and 10 rounds, he can shoot 5, and when he returned, because somebody dead when he returned to lodge, he can lodge 10. You want to know how the magic has happened? That's how the magic happened and the cocaine disappear from the police armory. Magic gonna happen. So I told Bromwell, I said, you ought to make sure that this thing is properly done. Identify all the ranks who were there, what they were armed with, and all of that. Get the record. When they might come, they might go in the witness box sometime, they talk a lot of crap, right? A lot of nonsense. So this is the anniversary of that death. And of course, the Ikin has moved now, and he is now commissioner of police. No accountability, commissioner of police. And talking about that, before I bring in CC, people have asked me to comment on the recent decision by the Chief Justice, where she ruled that the appointment of Ikin as commissioner of police, when he had passed his retirement age, basically was constitutional and nothing is wrong with that. Me, I no liar. I am no liar. But I am saying this, that is a dangerous precedent. The Chief Justice may be right. I don't think so. Legally, the Chief Justice may be right. But I'm saying a decision like this, because of the precedent, never happened before in the history of this country. Never happened. That needs to be challenged all the way up to the apex court. And I hope that the lawyers, I think it's Dexter Todd and them brought the move, challenge it. Because I recall too, when you talk about the same when it must be made acting court again, all his appointments in the court. And the Chief Justice made a statement which I disagree with totally. Again, I say I'm not a lawyer. The issue of acting appointment as against a person who is carrying out the function came up. And the Chief Justice said that she did not see a difference between an acting appointment or a person who is acting in the position and a person who is just merely carrying out the function. I said that they're wrong. Because the Constitution, Article 211, I think it is, spells out the process for acting commissioner, acting deputy commissioner. In the absence of that process, the person cannot be said to be acting. They are merely carrying out the function. As I did on 2 occasions when Green was commissioner and had to leave, I never acted. I merely carry out the function. I get a letter to say I will be carrying out the functions of the commissioner of police in the absence of the commissioner. So this thing, it needs to be challenged. Of course, I noted too that at the time, I think it is reported that the Chief Justice said, or reasoning will be forthcoming shortly. So she did not give any extended, detailed reasoning as to how she arrived at the decision, but she said that will come. And that is a comment I want to make in respect to that decision has to be challenged. But before bringing Cecil, let me tell you all the little history that I knew of the Ghana Police Force in the same acting or extension and so on. I joined the force in 1973 as a special constable at Sparnam. I joined the regular force in 1974. 73, while I was Sparnam, Carl Bobo Austin died in office. He died in office, and then I think he was succeeded by Henry Fraser. When Henry Fraser attained the age of 55, he retired. He was succeeded by Lloyd Arnold Barker. When Lloyd Barker reached 55, he moved on, retired, because there's a public service rules. Lloyd Barker was succeeded by Balaram Raghabir, who is alive until now, I think. When Raghabir was approaching the age of 55, we had a officers' conference, and Desmond Hoyt, the then president, came, and one of the things that he said during the presentation that we should consider whether the age of the commissioner or the service of the commissioner in the office should be extended beyond 55. We had to put up paper on it. I remember I was in a group with Rickford Chivretan, and we argued against it. And all the other groups argued against it and said, well, look, that should not be. Because we use examples of people moving on and giving proper service. Remember, we talked about Bill Argyle, because Argyle had gone on to GNCB, and the other officers who would come off at that 55 and gone on. So anyhow, the next year when I came back, he said that a decision was made for the commission to be extended. So Balaram was extended. The first person to be extended, as I know, beyond 55. Then he ran into some trouble with and it was then Customs, which is now Ghana Revenue Authority, and he was removed from office. Well, he was sent on leave, and then he was made a commissioner to India. Larry Lewis took over from Balaram Raghabir. Right? Larry Lewis acted for a while, and then he was confirmed in the position. During the time when Larry was there, as commissioner, government changed. 1992, PVP came to office, and then they decided, so at some stage, they were going to extend Larry Lewis. They did not, it wasn't a public thing. All we used to hear that Larry did get extended, and then Larry was extended on one occasion, and then he was extended on a second occasion. And then the rumor started to circulate that they intended to extend him beyond the age of 60. And the late Debbie Barker, who was a member of parliament, lawyer, member of parliament, did a research and found that the same laws that Nandalal and them talk about did not permit for any extension in the commissioner beyond 60. I can't remember the name of the act, but it says that the commissioner, and I think is the auditor general, those two posts, they said they can extend. We got a long process involving the prime minister and all them things they don't do. They're going to write, said they did not do all of that with this Aiken case. And then Larry Lewis, after that was brought to attention in 2001, Larry Lewis had to come off, and McDonald was appointed as commissioner. They kept McDonald, and then McDonald moved on. McDonald was succeeded by Winston Felix. When 55, Felix moved on. Felix was succeeded by Green. And then they kept Green beyond 55 because they wanted to stifle Paul Slow. And as Mr. Conway said earlier, He was extended. But again, all of this extension took place because the people were already substantive in the post of commissioner. They not no film star, nobody from Hollywood who was acting. So for that reason, and then of course after Green got into trouble, rape allegation and so on thing, Bromell took over from Green. Then when Bromell was there, Bromell spent a few months, I think, beyond 55. He wasn't officially extended. They kept him there. And then he was called one day by Daniel Ramatar, the president, and he was upbeat because he believed that he was going to be told about his extension. And then the tell he say, hand over to Silal Prasad. Right? And according to them by, say, in Kaicho News, the man cry when he get the work, and he cry when he gets told to hand over. Silal Prasad took over. Silal Prasad run into all sort of thing. I did an inquiry with Silal, and I recommended that Silal Prasad should be asked to resign. And I did that in that commission of inquiry that I did. I recommended that he should be asked to resign. But that Mr. Granger, nice guy, kept him. And you see, many times when you look, you hear to tell you about how the Sanom Silal Prasad, nothing of the sort. Silal Prasad worked until he was till his retirement came. Check the record. Check, even though I had felt that he should have been asked to resign because of his involvement in that issue where it was reported that a man was being paid to kill President Granger, and the police take little or no action. A matter of fact, the crime chief, current crime chief, Deputy Commissioner Wendell Blanham, said at the inquiry that he found the allegation inherently incredible. Quoting, inherently incredible. That is what he said. They found the allegation inherently incredible, so they ended nothing much. And I told you all over and over, anybody who wants a copy of that report, just send me email address and the details, and I will send it to you. That is a public document, right? So Leslie James took over in 2018 from Silal Prasad, and then when the time came, he reached 55, they make Api active. Api was never confirmed as Commissioner of Police, never ever. Nonetheless, they write a lot of crap about constitutional, some fancy word, he like to use big word and so on and thing, right? So let me understand. Nigel Api was never, he stayed there for like about 2 years or something like that. James demitted office, but the president was sworn in on the, it was on August the 2nd, I think it was, 2020. There was a Sunday, and James was sent off on pre-retirement leave on the Friday. And Nigel Api was holding on. And Nigel Api was never made to act as Commissioner of Police, never. And as soon as Nigel Api reached to the point where he had to go on pre-retirement leave, they put Ikin and they make Ikin acting immediately. Acting immediately. And then, again, it's a lot of incompetence. That's what we talk about. Incompetence. Because if they wanted to put Ikin, there was nothing preventing them according to the thing. There was no, but the issue of consultation came up, and the Chief Justice ruled that at the time there was no leader of the opposition, so the president had nobody to consult with as prescribed by the Constitution. I didn't agree with that too, but that is what they said. So why you didn't appoint him then? Because if you had appointed them, you had not reached, well, depending on which board certificate you use, he had not reached 55. But they kept him there. And then when he reached 55 and supposed to retire, past the retirement age, past the thing, then they said they're going to confirm him. They confirmed him on the 19th of December 2024 last year. That is when they confirmed him. Long past his retirement age. And therefore I say that that should be challenged all the way to the CCJ. I hope they do that. And it's not a case where you're attacking the CCJ or you're attacking the system. This is bigger than Ikin, because I'm saying it's a dangerous precedent to set. And therefore you need clarity all the way up to the apex court. That is my contention as a layman. That is my contention. Let me bring in CC. CC, let me hear your views on this matter, man. I know you're a man with all you just buy your law books, you don't thief them and all that. Let me hear what you have to say, my brother.
Not only buy them, when I buy them, I just read them. But let me just go down to the shooting at Linden. I was in the Guyana Police Force then. a senior member. Brummel was the commissioner. And the people at Linden gave notice that they'd have a week of protest. I think it was in relation to where they want to pay them for electricity. And they said they'll get a week of protest. Hicken was the commander. And I remember telling Brummel that when he can come to the next senior admin meeting, he must come with what he called an operation order. Let us know how he will police Linden for the week of protests. I said, Carly, and in my presence, he pick up the phone and he call Hicken and instruct him when they come to the meeting, come with your operation order. And it's an order, international order. They had a format. We call it IIMAC. You have information, you have intention, you have method, you have administration, and you have communication. IIMAC. That's how you get it, but you put it on in a right structure, in a writing. We call it the operation order, or some people call it the special order. Just like our election coming up, and I sure they have a special order dealing with how they would police the election. He came to the meeting. He talked about all sorts of things there, but he didn't mention anything about the protests and how he will deal with it. Remember, after he finished speaking, I turned to Brahma and said, Skipper, this man and come with the operation order, he ain't talking nothing about it. So Brahma said, you can, your operation order. Just Skipper, I get things under control. And if they do nonsense, I go and sort them out. And he started them out with deadly consequences. I remember that, you know. And the thing is, for commanders, whatever you're doing, it's a good thing for you to have operation order. Any order, any operation you have to do, start practicing with the small ones. So when you get the big ones, you know how to perform. IIM is information, intention, method, administration, and communication. I won't want to go into details about that. And with the ruling of the Chief Justice, I don't agree with the Chief Justice. I don't agree, and I feel just like you, Paul, that they should go to the CCJ, the Apex Court, let the Apex Court decide that. And when you look, I can't remember the exact section, but I remember part of the law saying, and the part of it said can be appointed after he has reached the age of 55 years. There, after you reach the age of 55 years, you die in the law. After you reach the age of 55, and then bracket, open bracket, after you reach the age of 55 years, close bracket. And I remember Nandela writing, and he left with a part. He left with a part in bracket after he had reached the age of 55 years. Maybe in the next episode, I'm going to read the law to you. And they should question it. And then when you look at President, all the commissioners who were extended end up in worries. Larry Lewis had to run. McDonald became the deadliest commissioner. 26 persons, policemen, died in active duty whilst McDonald was commissioner. And if you disbelieve me, go and check the monument. All the names written on there. 26. 26 died. McDonald became the deadliest commissioner. Instead of giving out awards, he paying tributes to his dead policemen. And then Green nearly get trouble because they had an allegation of rape against him. And he was smart enough that because the DPP had recommended that Green get charged with rape, and Green get word of it. And before they could start proceedings, Green carried him to court. Remember, Ian Chang was the Chief Justice. That the DPP must say, Ian Chang says the DPP must come and say why she recommended that Green get charged with rape. And she went to court, and she had the people who went there and testify, but they couldn't convince the Chief Justice why the DPP had recommended that that Green get charged with rape. And a lot of people has got to challenge the DPP's action. Why you say this man must get charged with murder? Why you say this man must get charged with things? Challenge it. That's how we get you. Challenge it and go to the apex court. And then my good friend Leroy Brummel, I remember the verbally he was extended, and then Ramatar sent for him, and he felt good, and he rushed there. And Ramatar said, Commissioner, and Ramatar said, look in the roof. I tell you, I'm gonna extend you. Ramatar said, yes, Comrade President. Well, before the end of the week, hand over to Sila Prasad, and he keep watching in the roof. Brahma say he got to the door, and when he watched back, the man still watching in the roof. And we know what happened with he can. He can take the gold medal for corruption and incompetence. So those who want extension, they gotta be careful. And more so, I don't believe that person should be extended unless they change the constitution, unless they change the law, which says after he has reached the age of 55 years. So I'm saying, like you, Paul, that we need to, I hope, they challenge it and go to the apex court and get a proper ruling.
Right, I agree with you fully. But in terms of teaching these officers and so on, again, they lack the formal teaching when you talk about the operational order. And you talk about IIMAC. I learned it a long time ago. And when I went to the police staff college, that was one of the things. I remember we had to prepare mock orders for the Princess Diane. The scenario was Princess Diane is visiting some place, and then we had to prepare the order. And then when you talk about the first I is information. You'd say, what is the information? Information is, in our case, Princess Diane will be visiting this place, this place, this place between so and such a time and so on. You give the information of the thing. For example, coming up, you get general elections. General regional elections will be held on the 1st of September, 2025. Information. Then you go on to tell them all the polling places, blah, 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 blah. That's information you're giving. And then you're going to go to your intention. The intention of this order is to make sure that this activity is conducted in a lawful, uninterrupted, blah, 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 blah. You'll talk anything, right? That is the intention. What is the intention of you, the commander, you, the commissioner of the order? Then you go to the method. I am now. What method are you going to use to secure this event? We're going to use patrols. We're going to use fix everybody in terms of election. Police will be at every ballot box, and that is the type of thing you have to put out in detail, the method you're going to use to execute this operation. Then you go to administration, very important. How they're going to eat, how they're going to get up. People got to go to on duty up the river or elsewhere. How are they going to get there? You're going to use boat. You're going to use car. Food will be provided by A. You're going to give them snack in the morning. You're going to carry lunch, snack. Lunch them at midday, a snack in the afternoon. All of those things have to be catered for in the administration. And then you're going to look at the last part in the order, communication. How are you going to communicate? You're going to use handheld radios. You're going to use cell phones. You're going to use body cameras. All of these things you have got to lay out in the order. And the final thing I want to say, that when you put the order together, everyone who is mentioned and involved in the order must know what is his or her role in this operation. You can't put out the order and then keep it as a secret like when they talk about this strategic plan. It don't work, sir. It does not work that way, right? And let me make this point. I see 2 points I want to clarify from, let me clarify one, and then the other point is from a student, Winston, who make the point that we are saying that there's a big difference between acting and carrying out the functions of, even in respect to remuneration. Winston has it up there. You can look at the comment and you're going to see it. Big difference. And then one, Jack Dish says that he think, he said that he think that Ram Narayan acted as commissioner. No, Ram Narayan never acted as commissioner. Ram Narayan carried out the functions during the time when Silal Prasad was commissioner. Because Silal Prasad had a thing he used to do, and the records are there. The records are there. In the last year or so when he was to come off, you look at the as his accumulated vacation leave, and then you can take a 2 weeks, come back. Take a 3 weeks, come back. Take a thing, come back. And I had said since then, I had tell him, it is wrong. I told the people at the Ministry of Home Affairs, I think Ramjatan was there, and I said, it is wrong. If the Commissioner of Police is coming towards retirement, he should not be allowed to go on a 3 weeks and a 2 weeks, and let him work until when the time comes. If he has 4 months or 5 months, he goes off into pre-retirement, give somebody else the opportunity to be there and to learn the work. But he was doing that, going at 2 weeks, going at 3 weeks, going at 1 month, and come back, till he went into retirement. And before he went into retirement, as somebody reminded me the other day, he wrote Silal Prasad, wrote to Commissioner Silal Prasad for licensed firearm dealer, and then Commissioner Silal Prasad replied to the next Silal Prasad, giving permission and all of that. That same Silal Prasad. He did that. The records are there. The records are there. So that we understand this thing clearly. That we understand this order, it is extremely important. And as Mr. Conway said, when you get a little function in the division, you got to practice writing orders. And this thing is Duncan Clark used to tell me this work is the left hand work. That's those very few things you're going to have coming up, that there's not a precedent. Orders are there. You just look and you change and you modify, especially now in the days of computer. All of those things are there. All you have to do is to look back, change date, maybe method, and these things are going to be a little different and so on. But it is there. But it is extremely important that you have an order. Extremely, extremely important. Right? So today is the anniversary of the death of those persons. And let me tell you, share the life for the next 50 minutes or so. If you think pace, for the next 50 minutes, we're going to talk now about the Daggy matter. What the man named something Samson, right? Daggy matter and the Azudin Mohammed matter. We're going to talk. So share the life. Share the life. We're going to point out all the nonsenseness. That's an island Welsh word. All the nonsenseness that the police going on with. Right? I'm going to dissect it and understand what's going on. Because yesterday, Jack Dio, they say, oh, they're not harassing Mohammed, and they say all sorts of nonsense. But I'm going to tell you now. I'm going to tell you. Daggy, as we saw, let me play the tape first, man. I want you, let me refresh you all. It was Wednesday, I think it was. When was the 14th? When they had this incident at the Square of the Revolution. Right? Look, let me show you all it. It's not long, 46 seconds, less than a minute. The Square of the Revolution, there was an incident there with Daggy. Here we go. All right, that is the incident according to the 14th of the Square Revolution. They say all sort of thing. They said that those forces were there because they were to collect money for either marching or cleaning up, whatever it is. But it was there. That is on the 14th. The following day, the 15th, they issued a wanted bulletin for Daggy. I found that strange because I know that they know where Daggy is. Daggy has been in communication with the police. I command all of them. They're calling him. But he is close with them. He even both used to do work for them. He's giving them information. I recall an incident where he even threatened police. He's going to have them dismissed and all them. But he's calling the senior people right now, posing with the commission and all them people. So the issue wanted bulletin for Daggy on the 15th. This incident on the 14th, they issue wanted bulletin on the 15th. I can walk you out through this thing because the timeline is very, very important. Now, let me tell you now that then what happened? Let me tell you how they wanted bulletin say. This is on the 16th, right? Stabrook News. Remember the wanted bulletin was issued, I think, on the 15th, Tuesday the 15th. Stabrook News on the 16th said, caught on camera assaulting woman with gun. Police issued wanted bulletin for Daggy, who was caught on camera assaulting a woman with a gun. And it says, police last evening, that would have been the evening of the 15th, issued a wanted bulletin for a well-known social media personality, Bradley Sampson, better known as Daggy, following a video of him seen assaulting a woman with a firearm. According to the wanted bulletin, Sampson is wanted for threatening behavior, threatening language, obscene language, disorderly behavior, assault, possession of firearm without a license, and possession of ammunition. The police release did not provide further information, but a trending video showed Sampson in heated altercation with a woman at the Square of the Revolution. And they go on to describe just what we saw there. Follow, student, follow me. Follow, share the live. Incident occurred on the 14th. Daggy issued the wanted bulletin issue for Daggy on the 15th. They said he first of all, threatening behavior, threatening language, obscene language, disorderly behavior, assault, possession of a firearm without a license, and possession of ammunition. And we told you, and we're repeating it here for emphasis, that a lot of these chopinists were right here. On what basis? On what basis? By looking at the video, you can decide that you can issue a wanted bulletin for a person. The wanted bulletin thing is abuse. Even if, as we all saw there, you saw Daggy in altercation with what appears to be a gun in the hand. With what appears, you have to make effort to contact him. And you know, he's in communication with all y'all, the senior people, frequently. You have to make effort to contact him. And then if those efforts prove futile, he's evading or avoiding being contacted, then maybe you might want to issue some bulletin for him. But to have issued a bulletin for him so quickly without, I sure, making any proper effort. And as I tell you, I like when they're right, because they just skin up themselves. The issue, somebody said the same night they issued the wanted bulletin. It's the same night they issued the wanted bulletin for Daggy. Now, how are you going to issue wanted bulletin and you talk about, first of all, they say possession of a firearm. How you know it's a firearm? How you know this thing that was being brandished there is a firearm? You don't arrest this man, you don't get this object, but you wanted the thing. Then they say possession of ammunition. How you know, even if for argument's sake it was a firearm, how you know it had ammunition? Where you get extra eyes that you can see there's ammunition. This is all a lot of bullshit they have there. And as we told you before, students, we're gonna spend the rest dealing with it to educate some people. All right, so they issued the wanted bulletin. And let me fast forward to today, and I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna go in front. Let me understand. So they issued the wanted bulletin, and they're claiming that Daggy turned himself in. So today he was charged. Let me pull it up. I got something here where he's charged, and the offenses and all of that. I got it somewhere. I have it someplace here where he is charged, and I want to the offenses. I can pull it up just now. So he appears in court today. Charged with several offenses. Hold a while. Let me try to get it. A little disorder. Hold on, I think this is it here. Police issue wanted bulletin for Daggy. Let me see. I can't find it now, but I can tell you always just now. I can tell you always it. Even if I got to print it back, I will tell you. So let me show you this. This man charged with assault, disorderly behavior, and possession of ammunition, possess firearm, and they say as well that he brandished gun for causing public terror, something like that, right? Something like that. But before I go forward, I really wanted to read what they wrote, but it's escaping me now. Somebody bring in CC, come and bear me out there. I'm gonna look for this thing. I really want to look to read exactly what the they are reporting that the charges are, right? Just CC, just help me out here. Let me look for it.
I'm not certain what they reported, but part of it they're talking about under section 141A and 141C, make use of any threatening, abusive, insulting, or obscene language, gestures, or behavior, or says or signs any insulting or offensive song or ballad with intent to provide anyone else to commit a breach of the peace, and whereby a breach of the peace may be occasioned. This is what Section 141 of the Summary Reducing Offence Act, Chapter 822 says under the heading Provoking Breach of the Peace. So they listed all these of offenses that is wanted here. And for me, my training that if you're going to charge, you can't charge for threatening behavior under Section 141A, then charge for abusive and insulting language, then charge obscene language, gesture, or behavior. That you got to decide which limb you go in, Billy. There are several limbs on in this section, and you can't charge me for this one, then you come back and you charge me with the same facts and circumstances for another one. You got to decide which one you you're going to use. They still say this is bad for duplicity. But then when we look at what took place, they go out with a wanted bulletin, but then do no investigation. If you're going to think, you got to investigate. You got to collect statements. You got to get complainant. Eh? You talk about gun, firearm. Eh? How could they prove that what they saw there is a firearm under the Firearm Act? No proper investigation. And then again, I hear they're going to search Daggy place for firearm. And I hear that they obtain someone from some JP or magistrate and go and charge and thing for thing. The whole thing is that if you're going to go to charges, you're going to go to one thing, but you must have your evidence. You must have your statements and you must have your complainant. Who did he threaten? Who did he threaten? Who did he use abusive language to? Who is a complainant in these matters? You gotta get all these things, But they're just running wild, and for me, they're jumping the gun.
All right, good. Again, let me read what is being reported in one of the online media sources about the same incident. Georgetown, Guyana, a familiar face in political mobilization circles, Bradley Sampson, better known as Daggy, made his first court appearance today following a tense confrontation at the Square of the Revolution earlier this week. Sampson, a prominent activist and organizer linked to the group We Invest in Nationhood Win, appeared before the Georgetown Magistrate Court to answer a slew of charges, including unlawful possession of firearm, carrying a weapon with intent to cause public terror, disorderly behavior, threatening language, and obscene language, and unlawful wounding. The charges stem from a dispute that unfolded on Tuesday during a political gathering organized by WIN, a group led by businessman Asudin Mohammed, according to police. Sampson allegedly assaulted a woman with a firearm during a row over payments. Eyewitnesses say the atmosphere at the square quickly turned chaotic and frustration boiled over among marchers who claimed they were underpaid or not paid at all. Videos widely circulated on social media show a heated argument during which Sampson was seen at the center of the altercation. Moments later, it's alleged he pulled a gun during the exchange. He pulled a gun during the exchange. The woman at the heart of the incident later reported the matter to the police, triggering an investigation that led to Sampson's being declared wanted. He surrendered on Wednesday with his attorney present. In court today, that's today, Friday, the presiding magistrate was informed that the complainant no longer wishes to pursue the matter. Still, police prosecutor opted to move forward with the charges, citing the seriousness of the alleged offenses and public interest. Sampson was granted $270,000 bail and is expected to return to court on August 15th this year. Though Sampson has long been viewed as a force behind Win Street presence, This incident has placed activism under harsher light. Now, this is, I read iNews, the part of PPP propaganda, but I couldn't find the other article, which is a more balanced and sensible article. But I want you all to get some background into this thing. So they charge this man for, let me read the offenses again. They charge him for, answer charge, a slew of charges, unlawful possession of a firearm. As we have said before, unless they were able to recover the firearm, how did they prove that he had unlawful possession of a firearm? Because remember, even if, as some people are saying, he's a licensed firearm holder, they might very well argue that the firearm he had is not the firearm that he's licensed to carry. Because when you have a license to carry a firearm, it is to a specific firearm with a number and everything. And if you're found with any other firearm, you would have been committing an offense. Let me understand this thing clearly. So, all right. But how if you have not recovered the firearm? How you know, and how you going to charge with unlawful possession of firearm in the wanted bulletin? They talk about ammunition. So we say, how you know that this firearm had ammunition if you get it in your possession? So they charge you for that. Then they charge it also for, and then let me say this, and should have said it before. I all know brief was Daggy Sampson. I find him objectionable. I have no brief for him, but I'm talking about the rule of law. I am talking about the rule of law. Yeah, no. Chisel. They say a slew of charges, not a slot of charges. Oh, man. They did not say that. So then they go on to say, carrying a weapon with intent to cause public terror. We saw the incident there. And they are saying that Daggy was carrying a weapon with intent to cause public terror. Let me pause. And let me show you all this one here. Let me remind you all of this one. All a while. Let me remind you all of this. Look at this carefully. This is the man in Agricola some weeks ago whose brother was killed. The man armed himself with an AR-type rifle, went down the road, shoot up at the house where the suspect lived or something like that. And you know what they charged him for? Let me tell you, the man charged, he was arraigned and he charged, he named Narayan, Keon Narayan, charged with discharging a loaded firearm with intent, as well as possession of a firearm without a license. That what we saw there did not amount to causing public terror. Did not. According to what I said, that did not amount to causing public terror. But in Daggy's case, he had the firearm. Firearm never went off, because so therefore we don't know it's a gun. He had what appeared to be a firearm, not charged, and he's charged. Let me read what it said. Carrying a weapon with intent to cause public terror. This place can be real. Because I'm saying with the video that we showed you there, that man should have been charged with attempt murder based on the facts. Attempt murder. No one had to be injured, but when he fired at that house or fired at the people, his intention was to kill whoever was in there. There are precedents, recent precedents too, which I told you all about some time ago. So this man charged with that, Daggy. Tell you ready, me to sorry for Daggy, you know. But I dealing with facts. Then the charge with disorderly behavior, threatening language, obscene language, and unlawful wounding. Now, let me say this. Let me start with the first one, right? Disorderly behavior. Now, what are the elements of disorderly behavior? If you are going to charge with disorderly behavior, you have to prove that this person spoke in a loud and aggressive, not necessarily a loud tone, and the tone attracted a crowd. Let me go back that, man. I learned them things since I was a young policeman. Elements to prove disorderly behavior. That the person spoke loudly above his tone of voice, and the tone attracted a crowd. Very important. If you can't prove those two elements, you cannot prove disorderly behavior. You cannot prove disorderly behavior. Now, in this case, all right, you might get somebody who said Daggy talk loudly. But no crowd was attracted. The crowd was already there, as we saw. They themselves are saying that the people that are assembled for collect money or whatever. So it's not Daggy behavior attracted the crowd. The crowd was already there. So how do you prove disorderly behavior? I can charge a consultation fee to these lawyers who might be representing Daggy. I'm going to charge a consultation fee because I know that those are the elements for disorderly behavior. When we're talking about threatening behavior and threatening language, right? The person to whom this language and the behavior or this language behavior is used has to give a statement to say the language or the threats cause them to be afraid. And if, let me roll back here now, and as we say now, revealed in court today Friday is what? Today is Friday the 18th. They are saying in this release, right? They are saying he surrendered, and then they say the presiding magistrate was this. The presiding magistrate was informed that the complainant, that is this woman that we saw there, no longer wishes to pursue the matter. Still, the police prosecutor opted to move forward with the charges, citing the seriousness of the alleged offenses against public interest. So who can give this evidence? Mr. Prosecutor or Mr. Persecutor? I know the prosecutor would have gotten instructions. Who giving the evidence? If the virtual complainant who you say was assaulted, the person who was wounded, the person who was threatened, decided that we ain't going, I don't want any further thing in this matter. Who giving the evidence to convict this man? They're just wasting the time of the court. But I didn't expect, before y'all blame the magistrate, I don't expect the magistrate would have dismissed the case today. But I expect certainly, when the matter comes up again, sometime they say coming up on August the 15th, if the position is still the same, and the witness no longer wishes to give evidence or the virtual complainant, the magistrate will have no alternative but to dismiss the charge. At least the assault and those charges. Well, I'm not talking about the public terror and the possession of arms and ammunition. That's a different thing. I'm talking about the ones where they talk about assault, threatening behavior, threatening language, and all them crap. You don't have a virtual complainant. You don't have a virtual complainant. So it's just political instructions these people are following. And look, Daggy, did I show you how much? Here the charges again, what they say, serious, here the prosecutor. The prosecutor say, because of the seriousness of the alleged offenses, and these offenses are threatening behavior, threatening language, insulting language, what? He's shackled. I got learn sense. He's shackled, and cuffed, and shackled. For disorderly behavior, threatening behavior, indecent language, they're shackly. And let me show you this next one, you know what? Watch. This one here, this is the Backbush Polar businessman who was charged with manslaughter following a New Year's Day this year killing, where he shoot a man in his shop. He shoot a man in his shop, a manslaughter accused. Look, he had phone in his pocket and he walking down merrily there. You don't get shackles, you don't get handcuffed. Are you going to learn? And let me read this poem before I move forward. The poem by Pastor Martin Nehemiah. It says, first they came for the communists. I did not speak out because I was not a communist. Then they came for the socialists. I did not speak out because I was not a socialist. Then they came for the trade unionists. I did not speak out because I was not a trade unionist. Then they came for the Jews. I did not speak out because I was not a Jew. Then they came for me. And there was no one left to speak to me. Daggy, today is Daggy. Again, I said, I ain't got no sympathy for Daggy. But today is Daggy, somebody else. Now, you tell me how you can justify handcuffing and shackling a man for disorderly behavior, indecent language, and all that. How you can justify that? And then they decide to they're going to proceed with the charge, notwithstanding the fact that the people say, hold on, let me get, I like read, man. They don't want to proceed with the matter, and you're not proceeding with the matter. The virtual complaint, and that's what the court. I don't know. I don't think it's a prosecutor would have said that to the court. I suspect is a lawyer would have brought that to the court attention that the virtual complainant does not wish to go ahead with the case, and the case gone. This animal farm. Let me take you all back to 2022. The matter started in 2021. Sharon X. Y'all remember her? She was the permanent secretary of the Ministry of Amerindian Affairs. And they set a trap. They say they set a trap for a businessman, complained that she demanding money from you with menace to sign contract. The man, his father used to run a security company to provide services to the ministry. And father died, the son took over the job, and then she demanded $200,000 from the man. The man went to the police, he made a complaint, the police marked $200,000 to bills, gave it to him, he went and he delivered it to Sharon X in the ministry. Then the police swooped in, found her with the money, and they charged her. The bribery, and then here this is the thing. The bribery matter against Amerindian Affairs Ministry Permanent Secretary Sharon X was yesterday, that was on the 9th of September 2022, dismissed in the Georgetown Magistrate Court. The matter was called before the senior magistrate when the court was informed that the complainant has refused to offer evidence against it. But they got it wrong, not the complainant really, because the complainant would have been the policeman who instituted the charge. I guess they're referring to the person who made the complaint, in this case, by the virtual complainant, or the second complainant. So let me correct it. The complainant has refused to offer evidence against the charge. X, who initially appeared before the magistrate, was charged in December of 2021 with accepting $200,000 as a bribe to process payment requested for the representative of a security firm. She was subsequently released on $100,000 bail. The charge which was brought against the state, states that on October the 7th, 2021, at 251-252 Thomas and Quamita Street, that is the ministry building, Georgetown, while being an agent employed by the government of Guyana, she obtained for herself $200,000 from Ormani or something like that, Chitamani, as an inducement or reward for processing the payment request for services provided. She pleaded not guilty. The woman had been functioning as permanent secretary of the ministry since 2020, was arrested after she was allegedly caught in a sting operation, accepting bribe from a contractor who provided security services. So Sharon Hick, caught in a sting operation, collecting $200,000, right, from a man there. She charged. The man got to court and said he does not wish to give any further evidence. Matter dismissed. I wrote about it at the time because I said that man should have been compelled to give evidence in the matter. He is compellable by law to give evidence, right? Because it's not a case where, if you look at the old circumstances, he was merely a witness, prime witness, of course, and therefore he should have been compelled. It was not for him to decide, I am not giving evidence, right? I am not giving. The state was the victim in this matter, the state of Guyana, and therefore he should have been compelled to give. That was my view, and I expressed it. Still all the same view. So therefore, if we juxtapose that, how come, in the light of this woman in the Daggy matter, saying that she does not want any further matter, the prosecutor can say they want to proceed because of what? Public interest and all them type of crap. Public interest or not, you have to get someone to give the evidence. Who will give the evidence? And if you're talking about assault and all this type of thing, not only if you're building a case investigating, not only the virtual complainant, there are a lot of people there. Did you seek to get evidence or statement from any one of those persons? But here, what is the kicker? Y'all share this life, man. Here, what is the kicker? Let me run the timelines again to y'all. Sagi, Raul, and y'all listen carefully. Winston, y'all listen. Chilo, y'all listen. This incident is alleged to have taken place on the 14th, right? Follow the timeline. Some people are saying they wanted bulletin issued the same night, night of the 14th. So obviously, if you issue a wanted bulletin the night of the incident, you had no proper investigation, right? You had no proper investigation. Let me understand that. Then what happened then? They wanted bulletin issued. They had now a raid. They had a raid. Our police turned up at Azzuddin Mohammed's home. Is when 94 the last, nah? 94 the last. Yeah, 94 the last. Yeah, tell me, man. Police issued a statement, right? About Bradley Sampson. There's another one they issued today. Let me find the one. I think I get all my facts and things mixed up and so on. Anyhow, the police, and is there viral on social media. Police turn up as Azzuddin Mohammed home 94 the last. Right? 3 van loads of police. They said they want to talk to him. They want to talk to him. And I remember a joke of 2 police went to a man home, knock at the door, and said, "What is it, police? What you want? You want to talk?" They said, "Well, y'all talk to one another. What you calling me for? You want to talk? What I got to do with it? Y'all talk. If you want to talk to each other." The pull-up said, "I want to talk to Azzuddin Mohammed." Before I go further, let me say this. There is no way on this God's earth, this green God earth, that the police by themselves would have taken such a decision, notwithstanding what the vice president and Nosef and all them telling you. The police would have been instructed to go there to talk to Mohammed. Not to talk, they got to arrest Azzuddin. 11:30 at night. 11:30 at night. 3 van loads of police, and they're claiming that they went there under subterfuge. It's a gated community. They told the people at the outer gate they're going to some bikers bar, which is inside there. So they allowed them to go in. They turned up at Azzuddin's resident of one of his residents. They says he campaign headquarters. The guard is alleging that the bully for him to open the gate. Well, if I had the authority, the guard had gone home immediately. I define it immediately because he's useless. He ought not to have opened the gate for the police to enter the compound. So you open the gate, they enter the compound. They're there with rifles and so on. And then they're telling you that they wanted to talk to him. And I saw the video that was circulating. The question, they asked about warrant. Take somebody who is said to have been Azzuddin's sister asking for warrant. The mom, they just want to talk to him. Now, if you want to talk to him, you have the telephone and all them type of thing. If you want to talk to him, why you got to go to this resident 11:30 in the night? Like, hold on, they got a troll just come up here. Let me deal with just deal with them. Hold on, let me deal with this troll. Come up here. This is not the place for the trolls. You got to go up on that thing where they start in the morning. This is not the place for trolls. When you all see them, tell me, because they don't pay attention to the thing all the time. Why do they have to go to this place at 11:30 at night? They said they want to talk to him. And what was more revealing is that when they not find him, they went away. They went away. So what was the purpose of going there? That reminds me when they went for Brutus, to search Brutus' home in the police compound at Ivlery. They went there to search Brutus' home, SWAT and all of them. And then when he refused to allow them to search, they just jumped in the vehicle and drive, and they went away. That reminds me of that incident. You went 11:33 van load of policemen at Azzuddin, a presidential candidate's home. You say you want to talk to him. You went there to talk to him. And when you ain't get to talk to you, drive away. So did you call him on the phone and say you want to talk to him? You want to talk to you, you call him on the phone? But why 11:30 in the night? Y'all got, I tell you all already, these are dangerous times. Dangerous times. The next thing you know, you're over there and you hear somebody resisting arrest and you hear shots firing and all of that. Dangerous times. And a warning. A lot of people call me and messaged me yesterday and so on telling me Crystal Ball working. Because I told you all, and I'm telling you again, notwithstanding what the vice president and the president and the PPP sycophants and all them saying about Al-Sudan Mohammed not seen as a threat, they see he as a big threat to their political fortunes. That is what Mike Crystal Ball said. And they will do every and anything. Let me repeat that. They will do any and everything to get him out of the political race. I ain't talking about him out, you know. I told you all before about charge. When I got charged, he sure they're going to also be charged. Because with this one, you know, the thing is so ridiculous that after I went for him, they didn't get he turned himself in. They say yeah, they haven't sitting for 4 hours, and then they said he on his own recognizance. So how serious could this thing have been? Because they couldn't contact the complainant. Let me bring him Mr. Conway. I gotta look for my documents. I get my documents mixed up today. See, the Daggy thing, handcuffed, shackled, and then you have police turning up 11:30 at Al-Sudan Mohammed's home, said they come for talk. What is your take on that, my brother?
Well, perhaps, you know, the whole thing is that issuing wanting bulletin for people. If you're going to issue to be professional, is that you have to do your investigations. Did they collect statements? Did the woman go to the hospital or she's seen by a doctor? Did they have medical certificate? They're saying that did they want it for arms and ammunition? Did they get a search warrant? Did they go at his residence and execute the search warrant? Or did they go like how they did in Essequibo, where ram down the people door and shoot a man innocently where the policeman get 25 years? You have got to do proper investigation before you put in wanted bulletin. Did you go at his residence and look for him? And don't tell me that there's no way as within there or special branch busy well and they get Brutus no more for track. I wonder who they're tracking. If this man is of such importance, they know either. He and them more friends. I sure they get telephone numbers and all kind of thing there. That the police for me working real wild. And it's because of politics. And for me, it's PPPC. It's politics. It's police. It's persecution. And it's corruption. There's I hold no brief was within. I hold no brief for Daggy. For me, he's reprehensible in many of his conduct. But the police gotta act better. If the virtual complainant says she don't want no story, and I know she don't give no story, the police has within. If you're gonna pull in as within, it's expected that the virtual complainant would have been there at the station. You get shit. So you're gonna want a confrontation with the two of them. You don't get a statement from her. So you could confront as within. But no, jump the gun, you pull in, then you're gonna look for the woman. Then you're gonna search for she. Then you're gonna and make phone call for see if you get her. Investigate first, and based on your investigation, you will act. And in terms of arresting people, perhaps they're not reading the law books. Police Act Chapter 1601 goes said talk about power to arrest without warrant. You're like Azudin sister, they asking if you get warrant. But they get warrant, but you have powers that you could execute. And here section 16.1 saying, it shall be lawful for any member of the force to arrest without a warrant. A. Any person who commits in his view an offense punishable either upon indictment or upon summary conviction. Or B. Any person who any other person charges with having committed a felony or misdemeanor. Or C. Any person who any other person, 1. suspects of having committed a felony or misdemeanor, or 2, charges of having committed an offense punishable on summary conviction, if such person is willing to accompany the member of the force affecting the arrest to the police station and to enter into a recognizance to prosecute such charge, or any person whom any member of the force who finds disturbing the public peace, or E, any person who has good cause to suspect of having committed or being about to commit any felony, misdemeanor, or breach of the peace. And the last one, any person who he finds between the hours of 8 o'clock in the evening and 5 o'clock in the morning, lying or loitering in a highway, yard, or any place, and do not give and not able to give a satisfactory account of himself. So this is the law telling you when you can arrest person without a warrant. This is your authority. But they're going wild. They just turn up at people's place, say they want to talk to them. You want to talk to them. And it had to be political directions. Had to be political directions and more to come in this silly season. We're saying get your evidence before you act. Don't jump the gun. Get your evidence. Do the investigation. Collect statements. Get your complainants. And if you're going to search, get a search warrant. Don't go and tell people that they tell them here, saying, and we told the person the reason why we're there. Or you ask the person telling you want to search a place and they agree for you to search. Nonsense. Arm yourself with your search warrant if you're going to search the building. In management, we say CYA, cover your ass, or SYA, save your ass, or you get kicked at KTA, you get kicked in the ass. So I'm saying CYA or SYA to avoid keto. Too much of unprofessional behavior by the police. And with this elections coming up here, it's going to get worse. And there'll be many, many more incidents of this nature.
Yeah, the thing is that the police have to understand and act professional. You get these senior people like Ikin and them giving all sort of unconstitutional and lawful order to the police, bullying them to carry out unlawful order. The turning up of that property there the night was unlawful. You have no legal authority to turn up, and then you're going to make the thing sound even worse. Oh, we went there, we want to talk to him. You turn up a 3-van load of policemen to talk to a man. That is what you're trying to tell people. And here was the follow-up release. And I told you all the kicker. I just analyze these things. Update. Ghana Police Force statement update. Bradley Daggy Sampson alleged assault of a female and the alleged commission of other criminal offenses by Sampson and others. Hear what it says. Can't done this out afternoon. We coming back. At 16 hours yesterday, the 16th of July 2025. Listen carefully, student. At 16 hours yesterday, the 16th of July 2025, a 29-year-old female sales rep and a resident of Magdoum, East Bank, Demerara, went to the East La Penitence Police Station and reported that on the 14th of July 2025, she was beaten and assaulted by Bradley Sampson, a.k.a. Daggy. Stop right there. The police, you see what tell you about incompetence? This incident occurred on the 14th. The issue wanted bulletin on the 14th or the 15th. Let me give them that the 15th. They are telling us now that the woman reported the incident on the 16th. So on what basis did they issue this wanted bulletin on the night of the 14th or the morning of the 15th? Y'all tell me, students. Let me read back what the police really said. Hey, these people are ordinary incompetent, you know. They get Mark Roberter, Clifton Ikin, and maybe the crime chief, Branham and all them. You know, now we'll see these things. They told us in this last release at 16 hours yesterday. This is yesterday they issued this thing, so the talk was 16 hours on the 16th. 16 hours on the 16th. a 29-year-old female sales rep, resident of Magdum, East Bank, Demerara, went to the East Penitentiary Police Station and reported that on the 14th of July 2025, she was beaten and assaulted by Bradley Sampson, aka Daggy. She reported on the 16th, but they issue wanted bulletin for assault and threat. Yeah, forgive me, man. I find this thing laughable, you know. They issue wanted bulletin on the 15th. Let me get that. Somebody said the same night they issued it. I think I saw it the same night. But let me say they issued on the 16th. So on the basis of what did you issue this wanted bulletin for Daggy? When this report is made on the 16th at 4 o'clock. 4 o'clock on the afternoon of the 16th, this woman making this report at East Penitentiary Police Station, but you don't issue wanted bulletin since the night of the 14th or the morning of the 15th, sometime around then. On what basis was this issued? These people got to be laughing at us. When people read this shit and they say, the police force is being weaponized to go after people, and they're not competent to do it in a manner that creates some type of, give them some type of cover. No cover. You see a video circulated where somebody's assaulted. All right, you want to forget the Daggy because Daggy aligned himself with the Win Party. Right? You see, you issuing a wanted bulletin based on a circulation of a video on social media. Yeah? You're not going to go and do your investigation for who is the person and all of that. That is what these people are telling us. And then they go on to say the woman told the police that she was employed by Bradley Sampson, called Daggy, a key organizers in the Win political party led by Ashuddin Mohammed, namely We Invest in Nationhood, to perform certain tasks on nomination day for the said Win party. And in return thereof, Sampson promised to pay her $50,000. About 11 hours on the 15th, the woman went to the Square of the Revolution. Here they get the days mixed up again. They say it's 11 hours on the 15th. This woman went to the place. When they release, I have almost thought this thing up on the 14th. Even check. Yeah, I'll check and tell me what. But I said, they always say at 11:30 hours on the 15th. This woman went to the Square of the Revolution, Coffee Square, Washington Road, Georgetown, to uplift the payment from Sampson. However, Sampson only paid her $10,000. In consequence, an argument erupted during which Sampson dealt her several kicks and cuffs about her body and lashed her with a gun to her head, causing her to receive multiple injuries. The woman informed the police that most of the incident was captured on video and shared widely on social media. She stated that Sampson later called her via Facebook Messenger and requested for her to meet him at Ashuddin Mohammed's house at Greenfield, East Bank, Demerara. As requested, that afternoon she met with Mohammed, Sampson, and other persons at the said location. The woman informed the police, here them here now, here Salawala, I can dissect this too. I get a little time. We're going to go a little overtime this afternoon. It's Friday afternoon. She was detained against her will at the premises by several armed security guards in excess of an hour. And again, the language has bothered them, you know. Hear what I'm saying. She was detained against her will at the premises by several security guards, several armed security guards in excess of 1 hour. So the security guard is in excess. English language. They wanted to say, let me tell you what they wanted to say. They wanted to say that she was detained in excess of 1 hour by armed security guard, but that is not what they said. They said she was detained against her will at the premises by several security guards in excess of 1 hour. English language. And remember, me, college graduate, Me, college graduate. But that can't be the one you want. Well, that is what I said. But that is not English language. That is not English language I was taught. I was taught, you should have said, she was detained. Because the excess of 1 hour relates to the detention, not the security guard. Yeah, tell me if I'm wrong, man. Tell me if I'm stupid like them. The detention relates to the excess hour relates to this detention. So you have to say, that is what my teacher, Miss Posada at UG, would have taught me. She was detained in excess of 1 hour against her will on the premises by armed security guards, something to the effect. We can't, let me go on, man. The other say, Azuddin Mohammed shouted at her angrily when he learned that the video of the incident with Samson was already on so here's stupidness. Here's stupidness. Azuddin Mohammed shouted at her angrily when he learned that the video of this incident was with Samson was already on Facebook. So you want to tell me is when she go at Azuddin and attacking to Azuddin, then Azuddin learned of this thing. So why he send a call she for? Why did he send and call her? You want to tell me he sent and call she account to them and he wasn't aware of this video that's been circulated on social media? Police, oh God, man. Oh Christ. Are you trying, man? Then they go on to say Bradley Sampson was present while all this was taking place. Then they go on to say Azuddin Mohammed instructed her not to pursue the matter against Sampson, to accompany Sampson to the police station and to inform the police that she is withdrawing the complaint against Sampson, and in consideration thereof, he will pay her $500,000. Yeah. Yeah, what I say? Let me read about this thing, sweet. Azuddin Mohammed instructed her not to pursue the matter against Sampson and to accompany Sampson to the police station and to inform the police that she is withdrawing all complaints against Sampson, and in consideration thereof, he will pay her $500,000. They had the things are so stupid. Well, if stupid people write it, it got to be stupid. Then they go on to say, one of the guards at the premises said to her, don't feel I don't know where you live in Magdoum. That's what the guard. Remember, they tell you that she live in Magdoum. 7:45 and 9 hours on the 16th of July, Daggy called her multiple times on her cell phone, asking her not to pursue the matter, but she refused to do so. They don't have a record of all of these calls. This stupid Josh Potato police. Do they have a record of all of that? Because I would say if she says, bring your phone, let me see your phone. Where all these calls or missed calls or whatever it is. Bring the phone. You see this Josh Potato, they're following Black Tank and all this type of thing. No, look, this thing is so laughable. The woman made a report to the Independence police station. She was subsequently examined by a doctor regarding the injuries received, and a medical certificate was duly issued. So a party they're saying, because remember what I tell you, the woman made a report to the Independence police station the 16th. That's what I tell you, the 16th. This incident occurred on the 14th. The issue wanted bulletin immediately after. And I asked again, on what basis was the wanted bulletin issued? If you did not get a report at the police station. Right? Man, look. Nancy Story. Nancy Story. Nancy Story. Marie. That is what I got to start these things with. Right? Then they go on to say, as a result of the foregoing, I want air lies. They are saying now, as a result of what took place on the 16th, a wanted bulletin was issued by the police for Bradley Daggy Sampson. Lie. The wanted bulletin was issued long before this. Long before this. The police consider the allegations which have been made against Mr. Azuddin Mohammed and the security guards to be of a serious nature and may involve the commission of several serious criminal offenses, including attempting to pervert the course of justice. What attempt to pervert the course of justice? What? Even if, for argument's sake, this incident occurred and Azuddin Mohammed or somebody tells you, look, take a raise and done the matter. That is perverting the course of justice? Does that amount to perverting the course of justice? What is perverting the course of justice is the DPP office and the police legal advisor and the police them intervening and preventing Dharamlal from being charged with rape. That is perverting the course of justice because you had a lot of evidence there that should be charged. What is perverting the course of justice is the commander at Region 2, that same victim, get her in an office, writing some statement for her to say that she don't want any further action. When she came back later to say she did not say that, that is perverting or attempt to pervert the course of justice. That's somebody, if somebody, you and somebody get into some trouble and you decide to settle. That is not, as a matter of fact, as one of the lawyers pointed out there, one of the lawyers pointed out, when you have matters of this nature, assault and threatening, the courts encourage people to sort it out. The courts will tell you, you're going to compromise and let me know so that we can done this thing. Right? The courts would encourage that. And then, they say as a result, and hear what they're saying now, as a result, and in compliance with the police's lawful duties. This is what I write, As a result, and in compliance with the police's lawful duties under the Police Act and other relevant legislation, the police attempted to contact Mr. Mohammed last night at the said premises for the purpose of investigating the grave allegations made against him. Additionally, the police had video evidence that Samson was at the said premises. At 10:20 today, the 17th, Mr. Azudin turned himself in at the Rival Police Station in company of his lawyers and is currently assisting police with the ongoing investigation. Bare shit. And this is not, y'all forgive me, I gotta be a little rude and crude. That is bare shit. That is bare shit they're writing there. Bare shit. But as I've said, the police is being weaponized to target Azudin Mohammed. Even though Jack Dio, Irfan Ali, and Big Nose, and all of them will tell you, oh, Azudin is Mohammed, not no threat to the PVP. We don't see him as a threat. They spend a lot of time talking about him at the press conference or at the so-called press conference. They're weaponizing the police and other agencies to go after him, all with the aim of getting him out of this thing, tarnishing the image and getting him out of the political race. That is the objective of all of this. And let me tell you all this before I begin, Mr. Conway, for his closing and so on. Them ain't done there. I sorry when I use Creoles because we got people here who I suspect will listen now or listen to the replay, the rebroadcast on YouTube, and maybe they don't understand. That's not done there. It means they're going to come at him with more trumped up charges. Daggy is collateral damage. Daggy is collateral damage. Because again, I say, if the virtual complainant has indicated that she does not want to pursue the matter, why the police wasting the court's time? Why are the police wasting the court's time? And talking about wasting time, we're going to talk about this here on the next show. Wasting court's time. Remember the incident? Big story with they make big nice with journalist Eliezer, Darwin Best, and Rick Ford Burke. How they try to extort money from the from people and all them everything. The businessman, the thing. You remember the story? Our first moment from BM South. Big story. They sent police all the way to US to deal with them. Well, this afternoon, folks, this afternoon, you won't believe it, but this afternoon, Friday afternoon, the police withdrew the charges against those people. The prosecutor, written submission to the from the police prosecutor Mandel Moore, advising the court that the state's decision to discontinue the case today, that is breaking news, that discontinue this case. And I am saying this, I have not heard for the longest while the magistrates court in particular awarding cost in these matters. Where's the court time to make big noise? Darwin Best and Eliezer, the journalist, how they're extorting BM South and all sort of crap they carry on with. Now today, they're withdrawing the charge, all those charges. Well, then I mentioned Burke, because I know the court had ruled, the Chief Justice has ruled, that they had no authority to do what they did with Burke. He doesn't live in Guyana. He has not been to Guyana for how many years. So, I guess based on the ruling of the Chief Justice, they might have discontinued against Burke. But today, because yes, they discontinued, and then they said they were pursuing other matters for his extradition and all sort of thing. That is what they said. So today, Friday, the 18th day of July 2025, them discontinue the matter against Darwin Best, who is now a political in the political arena, and journalist Eliezer. Journalist Eliezer. Right? Now let me bring in Mr. Conway for his closing remarks, man. CC, your closing, please.
Well, piss poor police investigations, if any at all. And as I said earlier, it's PPPC, it's politics, it's policing, politics, police, persecution, and corruption. No real investigation done. Talking now, what does it mean by detain her against her will? And what happened if it has been shouted at her angrily? Eh? She get assaulted on the 14th and the 16th they sending she to doctor? Eh? On out of on the 14th she get assaulted and on the 16th? And I saying that they jump the gun them and do no investigation, they just send and put out wanted bulletin and a set of lies playing out. A set of lies. If you're gonna put out, I repeat it myself, you're gonna put out wanted bulletin, first you gotta do your proper investigation. I gotta come up with hard facts that hey, I made effort to contact this person, but I ain't find any at this last and most usual place of board or waste everything, you know. Investigate first. You got in charge. Who are the complainants? Who are the virtual complainants in this matter? All those things here, you know, but it wrapped up in politics. It wrapped up in politics. And we're going to talk more about it. Assaulted on the 14th, and you're selling shit for thing. Now, I wonder what the medical support say. I wonder what the doctor wrote. If they maybe they get one of those, what a doctor, like oh, they had their own doctor to look at Lorimer. And we didn't talk about Lorimer because he's still in custody. But then in closing, I see region number 8, the guy who they said allegedly murdered 2 person. Somebody they saying that like, they committed suicide. But you gotta be careful because he was in some crouching position and somebody they gotta do the proper investigation whether or not he committed suicide or whether or not somebody killed him. Sometimes we too quick follow suicide murder. I remember case I think was in Georgia from a woman from Borbis, found her dead with a Cuban doctor, and they said murder suicide. When it ended up to be, it was double murder. So don't be too quick follow suicide unless you have proper proof. And Region 8, please do an investigation on the financial arrangements in Region 8. Please investigate. Region 8 going to end up like Brutus, and Region 8 going to end up like Region number 1 in terms of misappropriation, in terms of stealing of government funds, and all kind of thing there. Check Region 8 financial statements. And don't forget Region 1. They start Region 1 and they back off. And then they may go to Borbis too. Because understanding Borbis, up to now some ranks and get paid when they had the last Borbis Expo. Persons work 3 days and although the organizers pay for the 3 days, they only pay the persons for 2 days. They say 1 day pay got to go to the government. And those that work 2 days, they only pay them for 1 day, and they say 1 day got to go to the government. And persons who go and give face time, go and show the face. Person go sit time, go and just sit down there. They get paid for all 3 days. Financial irregularities, Region 6, Region 1, Region 8, and it might be elsewhere.
Yeah, folks. Yes. Thanks to that, CC. Folks, I have some very sad news to report. I mentioned about the vendor that they said shot in Mocha, robbery, murder. There's been reporting now that she's dead. I just saw a picture there on social media. Lady lay down there dead. Thief going to the place. But I don't get all the details, but shot and killed. But according to the crime chief, Deputy Commissioner Wendell Blanham, A lot of these crimes are drug related, are alcohol related. So I guess the murder, the double murder at Buxton, the murders at Linden, the murder now today at Mocha is drunk people. People drink liquor and they get high with liquor and they're doing that. That is what they want us to believe. But it is sad. Young, according to the people, hard-working woman lost her life. And they want to tell you that this place is so safe. And I'm saying to you all again, September 1 coming sharply. 40-something days to go. We all have a choice to make. I told you all when I go, I remembering Adriana Young. When I go there to put my ex, I can remember what they did to this young, innocent child. Because until now, we didn't get to go into it because Branham said the thing is continuing. And I asked the question, we got to go into it at another day. If it is continuing, what happened to my caution, the man you bring from Canada? What happened to his report? Because we were led to believe that based on what he said, everything done. So we have that. We have that. And don't forget this too, we talk about corruption.
Sit there and fabricate that. Unless you say who the person is, I can't comment on anonymous people.
Okay, well, let's talk about specific individuals. What is your relationship with Mr. Su Jurong?
Su? Oh, Su? My relationship? Nothing. He's a tenant in my place, yeah.
And he's a good friend of yours?
Yes, yes, he is a friend of ours.
He claims.
Yes, your relationship. That's what we asking about, Mr. Landlord. If you're a tenant, I mean, if he's your tenant, then use the landlord. Yes, Mr. Landlord. We're talking about the relationship. What is your relationship with Mr. Su Jurong? No investigation, none. And these people just sit down, you know, and they could tell you about who corrupt and who is criminal and all them down there. And they are more criminal than anybody else. They, even with the list, you must look at the list that I glanced it through. People with criminal convictions on the list. Criminal conviction on the list. Pedophiles on the list. But that is not surprising. Rape accused on the list. And then what they do? They sit down and went slow talk. They're planning for kill slow. They're planning for do slow, all that other thing. But God is in charge, large and in charge. All of us have to go one day, all of us. And let me remind them in case they know, all the money you are thieving, you can't carry it with you. You cannot take it with you. And you know, karma is a bitch. You ain't get deadline and shelf life. And if it's not you, you pickney them. And if it's not pickney them, you pickney. Karma is a bitch. And you are going to pay for all your deeds against poor people. Folks, we have had a long Friday afternoon. I hope you're looking forward to your Saturday, your long weekend. You know, in the country, sometimes Saturday you drink a little soup or you cook up rice or whatever it is. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. And I leave by reminding you that to be safe, the roads are dangerous. Truck, man crushed with truck sometime yesterday or whenever. Crush and truck. Young lady hustling, peddling she business, hustling with she business. Bandits kill she. Men sit down at Buxton, play little domino. I know Mark, the guy, Mark like he domino. We used to play domino in the yard there with his father when his father was alive and some other people around the place. Shot and killed. Just like that. Dangerous place. So be careful. And you know the thing about it, you can be as careful as you can, but you might be at the wrong place at the wrong time. That is all when you operate in these dangerous environments. That is what you just be at the wrong place, wrong time. Somebody shoot a bullet intended for somebody else, and you get killed. Folks, we had a long day. As God's Spirit Life, Monday, we're going to be here for the first program in the new week. Monday, we're going to be here. We have a lot of stuff left back. Somebody's asking me about this Suriname incident and all of that. We're going to talk about all of these things they listed to speak about. Larimer, the PPP activist from Linden, police arrested him how long ago on a commitment warrant. And up to now, they can't hand you over to the prison authorities, all because he's a PPP activist. All because he's a PPP activist, the old leader, and the thing. Because I maintain that even if he said that he's sick, whether he's feigning illness or not, upon the time the police held him straight to the judge, straight to the Louisiana prison as commanded by the warrant. And the police are in contempt of the court, and nobody else saying nothing, nobody else doing nothing. And you're saying that this is a democratic society. They talk about the rule of law. They talk about all sort of crap that they don't understand. So we're going to come on Monday, God's Spare Life, because I know everything is in the hands of the Father Almighty. Them believe them is all powerful. But I remind them that man appoints and God disappoints. Folks, have a good weekend, and we see you back here if the Almighty so desires on Monday morning at 11 o'clock. Until then, stay well. Bye.